Hello?
Do you have any idea who you just with? Huh?
Comedian and actor Ali Wong had quite an award season, winning acting awards at the Emmys, Golden Globes, and Independent Spirit Awards, thanks to her role in the hit series Beef. But Wong is going back on the road for her first love, comedy, with a stop at Fallsview Casino coming up this Sunday. Our Jen Hsiung spoke with Wong ahead of that show.
Are you in love with me?
Ali, I know you were super busy filming and shooting Beef, which really cleaned up at awards season. You were the first Asian person to win an Emmy for Best Actress in a Leading Role, which is huge and so well-deserved. But I know you didn't do comedy during that time, and now you're getting back into it. You've been selling out shows in LA, and now you're coming to Niagara Falls on August 18th. What's it been like to get back in onto the stage and perform again? Like, was that a hard thing to do, not being able to do comedy for a while?
You know, it's so nice because when I do stand-up, you know, it's really like I dress like like an off-duty. I joke that I dress like an off-duty NBA player. I just put on like this matching tracksuit, and I kind of look like Asian Polly Walnuts from The Sopranos. And it's like I really enjoy the rawness of stand-up, and while love collaborating with people. Like with Beef, it was so amazing to work with Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead and with Sunny, who wrote and created the show. It was amazing to do that. And I'm down the line, I really hope to work with those guys again. But there is something special about writing all of your own material and deciding exactly how it's going to be performed and having none of it be on camera. You know, I think that's thing that's special about a live performance. And people, you know, I ask everyone to not film or anything during my show. So it's like whatever they're experiencing will only happen that night.
What was it that inspired you to go full tilt into that? Was it an open mic performance? Was it seeing someone on stage? Did you always have this dream? Like, what made you commit to going on stage performing like 9 times a night?
There just happened to be this open mic by my parents' house where I was living, like every, I mean, that's like normal these days, right? Is that every college student, you cannot get a job, so you've been back with your parents. And I was living with them, doing laundry at their place, eating all their food, you know, still under their health insurance because I was still under 26. And I saw this open mic by my house, a sign for it, and I really felt called to it. And then once I did it, I don't think that, I mean, I started on my journey as soon as I did that open mic. And I started doing sets. Yeah, and it was like, you know, it's so interesting now because my daughters are 8 and 9 years old. No, I'm sorry, they're 8 and 6 years old, and they're very aware that they were in which dress. They were in, like, my 8-year-old, the baby cobra dress, which is in the striped dress. And whenever she sees pictures of me pregnant, she's like, that's me in there. And then my daughter, who's 6, was in the leopard dress, and she's like, that's me in there. And I just forget that it feels like before it used to feel like such a short while ago that all of that happened. But now, because of the age of my kids, it feels so long ago that that baby cobra was filmed. And even when I see people dress up as the Halloween costumes, I'm like, wow, that was really like a different time, you know. And I'm so proud of that special. I'm still so proud that people do dress up in those Halloween costumes, because I'm like, again, it was one of those things where I was performing it and I was touring with it like a little bit, but I wasn't a very big act at the time. So not that many people came out to see me. And when people did come out to see me, they didn't know who I was. And some people just came, like at one club, you could still smoke, and people just came to see me only to smoke. They didn't even know who I was. They were just so excited to smoke inside. And so I didn't know, again, how people would respond to that, and that was such a surprise. So it's still like shocking to me, you know, everything that's happened.
Ali, what would you say is kind of the biggest lesson you've learned while doing stand-up comedy that you could bestow on, let's say, you know, younger comedians aspiring to be where you are? Specifically, I don't know, East Asian comedians, we're finally kind of coming up. I always say that I feel like Crazy Rich Asians undid all the hard work that COVID undid all the hard work that Crazy Rich Asians did to make Asians cool. But, you know, you and Steven Yeun and Beef built that up again. But there was this mentality before that, like, OK, if you're an East Asian comedian, you know, tokenism, like one is enough. What is your experience being a female minority coming up in this male-dominated industry?
I think if you think of yourself like that in those terms, you're already boxing yourself in, right? If you're already putting yourself in that category and sort of, and I think it's like really easy because a lot of the language and dialogue that's going around to look at yourself through that gaze, right? But if you look at yourself through that gaze, then that's what you will limit yourself to be. You know what I mean? But I think that if you, like, I look at like the younger generation of Asian American kids now, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see all of them, a lot of them be so much more free, you know, and I want like what I want for like a younger generation that's interested in being creative and in comedy. I just want them to be in touch with their authentic selves, you know, and whether that touches on without like, you know, forcing any sort of contextualization of their gender or their race into everything if it's not necessary, you know, and that's why I love Beef so much, because I always say that when you work, you know, with like an all Asian American cast, then the people get to be people, right? You're not thought of as like, in the show, you wouldn't describe anyone in that show as the Asian one. You would describe someone as like, oh, he's the athletic, super toxically positive, like biker husband. Oh, he's the like down and out contractor with anger management issues. Oh, she's the like very prissy, unsatisfied housewife or something like that, you know? And so like these descriptors are speaking to someone's character, their three-dimensionality, their multitudes, their humanity. And so, I mean, yeah, I think for younger people, that's what I want them to really get in touch with, you know? But in terms of like, for me, what I've learned, I think just really embracing failure, you know? And because when people ask me, like, what would I say to myself? I'm like, I wouldn't say anything to myself when I was younger, because I am so grateful for every single failure, every single time I bombed. You know, when I go up and I work up my new hour, I eat it a lot. So that when I come to like Niagara Falls and all the way there and perform, you know, I don't know how far away I'm performing from those waterfalls, those big waterfalls, but it's like I have to, like all of that time, those hours of failing in front of a small audience and trying out these jokes that I'm now bringing to like Niagara Falls. I have like worked really hard and bombed a lot to make sure that you guys are going to have a good time and that this is like, you know, that this is good stuff. So failure is like, it's like tantamount, I think, especially to any career, and to life, but especially to stand up. You can't like be afraid of it. You really have to have like gratitude for it. You know what I mean? And see the value in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you've really got to embrace the failure, and I'm sure everyone's going to be flocking to Niagara Falls to watch you. Ali, bring a poncho. It does get a bit wet over there. Maybe you can make a joke about that. But it was such a pleasure chatting with you. I wish we had more time, and just thank you so much. Truly, you are a hero. Take care.
Thanks.